Derek here. Today I wanted to get into discussing tiny whoop batteries and how to fix your batteries once the performance isn't desirable anymore. Basically, all these batteries have a fundamental flaw, and it's this little teeny tiny connector that they're using both on the aircraft itself and on the battery. This tiny little thing is called a JST-SH connector. It's got 1 millimeter separation in between the pins, and it's rated at 30 cycles. So once this connector has been plugged and disconnected 30 times, inherently it's worn out, and you're supposed to throw out the battery and start over again. Well, a lot of these batteries can still have quite some life left in them, so why would you throw it out if the problem is just the connector on the end? I've seen multiple ways and multiple styles of fixing the battery. Everything from trying to duplicate the original style, but with the larger connector. This is a JST-PH. It has 2 millimeters of separation in between the pins. And this connector is going to give you a little bit longer of a flight time and also more punch out of your Inductrix or your tiny whoop as well. I have to say that I noticed the largest improvement with this mod, just about as opposed to anything else I put in here other than the Crazy Pony motors that this one has. I do have to say, full disclosure, this mod does involve soldering on a LiPo battery, so if you're not comfortable with LiPo batteries, with soldering, this mod is not for you. I'm going to say this again, you need to solder on a LiPo battery. If you don't want to solder on a LiPo battery, turn this video off, get a friend to help you. Find another way to go about doing this. You need to be 100% confident and positive with this mod we're about to do. Basically, what we're going to be going for in our end product is going to be the standard 200 milliamp E-flite battery with a little bit of a pigtail on it. The reason I like doing the pigtail with the larger JST connector is it gives you a little something extra to be able to grab onto. I have had the connector pull out on several other batteries, and ultimately this one I'm going to convert back over to the pigtail, but for now I just wanted to show it in comparison. I got these JST connectors off of eBay. It was like $6 for 25 sets, but they do involve crimping. You do need a special tool in order to be able to crimp the ends on a wire. I have one here that's already ready to go, so we're going to save some time. This is how I like to pre-make them. Essentially everything's crimped and correctly installed. The wire is 1.5 inches long. I try to make them all the same for consistency, but I find this is a good length. So pre-made, we're going to use this. And let's get our battery opened. I'm going to use a pair of pliers. Just get myself a little bit more leverage. And basically just rock this cat back and forth. Of course, this one's a little bit more stubborn. And there it is. Oops, one broke a little bit on me. What are you gonna do? Just carefully separate the foil, and you're gonna see that we have the 2 terminals for the battery. This is a silicone insulator, and we're going to need to remove as much of that as possible. And be very careful to not damage the actual pads for the battery connector. I'm just picking away, trying to remove as much of that silicone as I can. Ultimately, until I can get at the battery pads. Nicely tin tip. And there it is, the factory connector removed. Now we're going to want to go back clean these pads, clean as much of this silicone off as we can. Tin your wires. Inserting the wires back through the cap. And now we're ready to resolder the wires. Being careful and aware of the original orientation. There's our solder connections. Now we're going to seal those up with a little bit of vinyl. Refold the edges of the foil, and then I like to reinstall the cap with a little bit of super glue. And that's it. That's how I rebuild my tiny whoop batteries. Thanks for watching.